Dozens of leaked text messages revealed ongoing racist, xenophobic, sexist, and homophobic messages traded by current and former police officers in Torrance, California. In fact, the messages are so awful that there is now a full-blown investigation into the police department by California's Attorney General. We'll give you details on that in just a second, but you must be wondering, well, how bad were they? What was included in these text messages? Was it innuendo? No, it was pretty brazen. The caption read, okay, so in one picture that was exchanged in these messages, there were several black men who were depicted as being lynched. Okay, so we're already talking about some pretty hideous behavior. And the caption read, "Hanging with the homies." Another photo asked what someone should do if their girlfriend was having an affair with a black man. The answer, according to the caption, was to break a taillight on his car so the police will stop him and shoot him. They're not holding back at all.
Cops seem to understand cops, at least.
They're sharing these text messages with one another. Like, it is being documented, okay? So there's evidence of this. It just keeps getting worse. Officers called black men savages and several variations of the N-word. The officers also shared instructions on how to tie a noose and a picture of a stuffed animal being lynched inside Torrance's police headquarters, according to the documents. You know, the word savages reminded me of a pretty epic rant that Cenk went on fairly recently on the show. And I want to reshare that rant with you because it's important to remind people who the real savages are.
When they attack black people after they've been murdered, when they did absolutely nothing wrong, you're pushing us to the limit. And what do I mean by that? You're asking us to talk about history, the history of the South. This is in Georgia. What happened in Georgia? There were savages in Georgia. It was the ancestors of the white right-wingers. They were absolute savages. They murdered people, they lynched people, they raped people, they enslaved people. They took babies from their mothers and sold them as property. You want to talk about savages? Your ancestors were the biggest savages the world has ever seen. So don't you dare call a black man a savage after you murdered him. Don't you dare do that. I'm so sick of African Americans being called violent when the world's worst violence was done to them, not by them, to them, not by them. For God's sake, you want to do racist stereotypes? If it fit anywhere, and it doesn't, but if it fit anywhere, it would certainly fit white right-wingers in the South who has hundreds of years of history of being savages, savages.
So John,
actually, I think I'll talk right now.
Okay, actually, you should.
No, everything he was saying was really good,
yeah.
But I did notice that. Yeah.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah. No, it was great points, indisputable points.
Who's salty today? Is it me or is it you?
I'm trying to take a little bit of the salt.
All
no,
right,
indisputable points. Totally true. I mean, the only thing I guess to add is that in this case, it's California. It's not just Georgia. It's not just the South. That may be where some of the worst of the violence happened, but California, Southern California, hardly strangers to police violence. So it would be one thing if there's no demonstrated like police brutality issues or race-based police brutality issues in Southern California, and you saw this stuff and you thought, well, oh my God, wait, maybe behind the scenes it might be having some effect in terms of bias. But when it's accompanied by constant actual brutality and murders, well, then we don't have to engage in hypotheticals. They'll say it's just jokes. It's not just jokes. No. It's never just been jokes. Your people act on it.
How do you joke about lynching? How do you joke about that?
Yeah.
I mean,
well, and
that's
how does the thread
behavior?
How does this exist? Since at most you only ever have a bad apple in one of these places. He sends out the first meme. Nobody responds to it. That should be the end of the thing. Except it's not, because it's not just a bad apple. It is a culture of dehumanizing, hateful behavior and beliefs.
Now, if you believe that this is only reserved toward African Americans, black members of the community, you would be wrong. This group of cops very clearly has hatred for various groups of people, and I want to give you some examples of that. They joked about gassing Jewish people, assaulting members of the LGBTQ community, using violence against suspects, and lying during an investigation into a police shooting, according to district attorneys, according to the district attorney's office. Now, the Attorney General in California, Rob Bonta, is launching an investigation into this. He announced that just today in a press conference. And the state's Department of Justice, the Civil Rights Enforcement Division, and the Division of Law Enforcement will examine evidence and talk to community members about this whole situation. And I mean, think about it. These are individuals, these are supposed to be public servants who are paid with the community's tax resources to protect and serve. And how can you rely on or trust these individuals to protect and serve members of the community? Huge group of, huge group of people. I mean, it's everyone basically that isn't white. How are you gonna expect them to protect these communities when they have so much hatred for them? By the way, some of them had previously been caught engaging in hate crimes. Wow, what a shocker. So for instance, former officers Cody Weldon and Christopher Tomsick were charged in August with conspiracy and vandalism for allegedly spray painting a swastika inside a vehicle. And look, there is a real cost to this. It's injustice all around. Because since these cops were involved in the prosecution of various members of the community, now those cases need to be questioned. They need to be retried. So for instance, currently no officers face criminal charges in direct relation to the text messages, but at least 85 criminal cases involving the officers have been dismissed. They've been dismissed, okay? Including 35 county felony cases as of mid-November and an additional 50 city cases. Alarmingly, the officers were listed as potential witnesses in nearly 1,400 cases in the last decade, according to the district attorney's records the Los Angeles Times obtained through a public records request.
Yeah, well, thankfully it's just jokes. It would never influence what they do in a case, even when the joke is about them literally lying to cover up crimes. It wouldn't possibly have an effect on anyone. And anyway, you were implying that they were doing hate crimes. I just heard on Tucker Carlson last week that hate crimes don't exist. It's a stupid concept. Nobody knows what it means. And so presumably spray painting swastikas, not especially concerning over and above any other spray painting. According to Tucker Carlson, there's hate crimes, it's just spray painting. It's the same as any other spray painting. Anti-Semitic crimes don't matter according to Tucker Carlson.
By the way, according to Tucker Carlson and most right-wingers in this country,
yeah, they don't believe that any of this exists.
It goes further than that. It is offensive. It is offensive to even cover this story because it hurts the precious feelings of white Americans.
Yeah, and
did it hurt their feelings to draw attention to the fact that people who are supposed to protect and serve are clowning around about lynchings and gassing Jewish people? Does that hurt your feelings?
Can you imagine, like we take all of this, they don't care, they'll never cover it. Tucker Carlson doesn't have, one atom of a scrotum to actually address these sorts of issues, the obvious systemic racism in this. Can you imagine if one black DA texted another black DA about wanting to slap a cracker or something? That would be it on Fox News for a solid week, maybe a month. They'd be talking about it for literally years, and they would believe that not only cancels out all of this, all of these cops across all of the years and all that, but they would still maintain that this doesn't matter. But if anything anti-white, like they invent supposed anti-white animus amongst people, but they would take that incredibly serious. And there are definitely hate crimes targeting white people, but having literally the people who are the last line of will there be justice for people living in one of the most densely populated parts of America. No, it doesn't matter if they believe all these things. If they say anti-Semitic stuff, they joke about wanting to lynch people, it doesn't matter, you shouldn't be concerned about it. And they can do their little investigation. What are they gonna do? Like let's say they get rid of every cop that sent one of these text messages, which they won't. They won't do anything like that. Oh good, then we'll just have the rest of them and I'm sure they're cool. Like who hears this story and thinks that we will get within 10 miles of justice in this? That in a year we won't have just as systemically racist police departments in California as we did before this story was broken. It is systemic, it is baked into the DNA. And even if someone does decide to become a cop and is a good person, give it a couple of years being surrounded by this culture and see what comes out the other side.
Yep, and this is happening with the backdrop of violent crime increasing. I'm not talking about, smash and grabs. I'm talking about violent crime. Homicides are up all across the country, including in, Southern California. These are the people we're supposed to protect and serve. This is what they're up to. They're supposed to be fighting crime. This is what they're up to.
Yep.
Thanks for watching the Young Turks. Really appreciate it. Another way to show support is through YouTube memberships. You'll get to interact with us more. There's live chat emojis, badges. You've got emojis of me, Anna, John, JR. So those are super fun. But you also get playback of our exclusive member-only shows and specials right after they air. So all of that, all you gotta do is click that join button right underneath the video. Thank you.